Good morning, my name is Lina S and my student number is 6478. So today we're solving this exercise that you can see here. So firstly, we will go to the first question, which is what is the format of the variables, qualitative or quantitative? So the quantitative variables, first of all, I'll give them an explanation. So they are values which result from counting or measuring something. For example, we can speak about height, about weight, or maybe the number of items sold to a shopper, for example. Then we have the qualitative variables, which are variables that are not measurement variables. They are values that just result from measuring or counting. So to answer to this first question, we have the answer here. So gender is a qualitative variable. As they are not numbers, we cannot count it. Then we have the nationality, which is also a qualitative variable, as it is about nationalities and a description of where you're coming from and not something that can be counted. Then we have a quantitative variable, two quantitative variables, which are the age and the total spending. Indeed, they both are qualified as quantitative because you can calculate them and they are measured and they change from one person to another for the spendings and from 1 year to another in one guest or in one person or etc. So then the second question is what type of variables are there? Categorical, continuous, or discrete? So firstly, also I'll give a quick explanation of each of them. So a continuous variable can take any numerical value and can be measured. For example, height, weight, temperature, income. Then we have the discrete variables. The discrete variables can only take certain numerical values and are counted, like for example the age, the shoe size, maybe the number of purses. Then we have also the categorical variables, which involve non-numerical groups or categories. So, for example, here gender is a categorical variable because it involves a non-numerical group or category. You can be either male or female. Then we have the nationality, which is a categorical variable because it also involves a non-numerical category, which is nationality. Then we have the age, which is a discrete variable because it can only take certain numerical values at some point. Then we have the total spendings, which are continuous variable because they can take any numerical value and are measured. Then we can move to the third question, which is prepare the descriptive statistics for all the possible variables using the data analysis toolpack. Explain why you chose those specific variable and not others. Okay, so to explain, we have chosen to to do this, the descriptive statistics of the age and the total spendings. And I chose these values because they are number and you can actually make those tables come out of it. However, you cannot do that for the gender, you cannot do that for the nationality, because they both are not numbers, so you cannot calculate the mean or calculate the mode or anything because they are not numbers, so you cannot do that. Okay, so I have done these tables thanks to the data analysis toolpack, and then it gave me all sorts of descriptive statistics which helps me analyze the observations that I have given to their age and given to their spendings. So I'll just give an explanation of what are those values, what do they mean. So for example, the mean is the average of the values, which means that generally we calculate the mean. Well, here it got calculated automatically, but the mean means that we have to make a sum of all of the ages, for example, divided by the number of observations, which is here 30. So this explains us that in average the guests have 43 years old. Then we have the standard error, which is given by a simple calculation using the standard deviation. So it's standard deviation divided by square root of the observations. Okay, then we have the median. The median is the middle number. Okay, then this means that 50% of people have more than 41 years old and 50% of people have less than 41 years old. Then we have the mode. The mode is the most frequent value, which means that is the value that repeats itself the most. So it means that 37 years old is the most frequent age. Then we have the standard deviation, which is a measure of how close the data is to the minimum age. Then we have the sample variance, which is the square of the standard deviation. So it's the standard deviation squared. Then we have the kurtosis. The kurtosis it means that if, for example, the kurtosis equals to 0, the distribution is normal. Then we have the skewness. If the skewness equals to 0, it means that the skewness is expected to be symmetrical. But here, the skewness is positive, as you may see here, which means that it is right skewed. If the skewness was negative, it would have meant that it is left skewed. I'm sorry, if it was negative, it would have meant that it is left skewed. But here it is positive, so it is right skewed. So for then we have the range. The range is the difference between the minimum and the maximum. Okay. Then we have the minimum, which is the lowest value, of course. So it means that it is the lowest age that we can find in this table throughout the observations. Then we have the maximum, which is the highest value, of course. And then we have the sum, which is the sum of all ages. And then we have the count, which is the number of guests. Here, actually, we have 30 of them, and that's it. So this is for question 3. We have done the descriptive statistics of the age as well as for the total spendings, which we will be seeing more in the following questions. So let's just double check that I have answered all questions. So